We got day 308, which is Matthew 22 and Mark 12. Okay, so yesterday was good. Uh, so we got Matthew 22. And Yeshua answered and spake unto them again by parables and said, A certain kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, that they should, and they would not come. And again he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen, my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready, come into the marriage. But they made light of it, and they went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise. People are too busy to come to the wedding. Too busy to put oil in their lamps. Too busy. And a remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them. Wow. They kill all his prophets. Sent to warn them. And he sends the watchmen in the end of days to warn the people. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burned up their city. He sent 144,000. And he saith he to his servants, The wedding is ready, but which are bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and many as you shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. So they went out, brought the word to everybody. Go find my lost sheep. Teach them what I taught you about repentance. And when the king came to see the guests, he saw therefore a man which had not on his wedding garment. What do you mean? I'm saved by grace. Once saved, always saved. And he said unto him, Friend, how comest hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then said unto the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into the outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. But pastor told me I was saved. For many are called, but few are chosen. When the Pharisees took counsel how they might entangle him in this talk, and he sent them out of their way, the disciples of Herodian, saying, Master, we know thou art true. Teach us the way of God in truth. Neither carest for any thou man, for thou regardest not the person of man. Tell us, therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? But Yeshua perceived their wickedness and said, Why tempt me, ye hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought him a penny. And whose image is this on the inscription? They said unto him, Caesar. Then saith unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. And when they had heard these words, they marveled and left him, and went their way. The same came the Sadducees, which say there is no resurrection, and asked him, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die, having no children, his brother shall marry his wife, and raise up the seed unto his brother. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, and when we had married a wife deceased, having no issue, left his wife unto his brother, and likewise the second also, and the third, and unto the 7th. And of the last of the woman died also. Therefore, in the resurrection, whose wife will she be of the 7? For they all had her. And Yeshua answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God. For in the resurrection neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are the angels of God in heaven. But as for touching the resurrection of the dead, ye have not read that which was spoken unto you by God, saying, I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. And when the multitude heard this, they were astonished at his doctrine. So, what are the wages of sin? Death. So the God of the living are going to be those that could hear that prophet, didn't live in sin. But when the Pharisees had heard, they put the Sadducees in silence and were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, saying, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? So which is the greatest commandment in the law? And Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. So that's, remember how this starts. Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? I'd be doing you a great disservice if we didn't go back and read that, since it is the greatest commandment. Now, these are the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it. Thou might fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I commanded thee, thou, thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that those days may be prolonged. Hear, therefore, O Israel, observe and do it, that they may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord thy God of thy fathers has promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. That's the promise to Abraham. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is Lord, is one Lord. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one, Jehovah. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind. That's Deuteronomy 6, verse 5. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might. And these words which I commanded thee this day shall be in thine heart. Thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. Thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes. So you will be a doer, because they put them on your hands. Okay? You'll think of them all the time. They'll be on between your eyes. Everybody's worried about this. Oh, the sign of the devil is going to, what's that going to be? It's going to be on your forehead and on your hand. Or the lack thereof is a sign. Or what is the sign that's on your forehead and on your hand? You shall teach them to thy children. Okay, that goes into the second commandment. Honor thy father and thy mother and thy father, which is the first commandment with promise. As we'll get to that when we get to Ephesians 6. Okay, right in the beginning of Ephesians 6. The first commandment with promise is honor thy father and thy mother, that you'll have everlasting life. Because he's the God of the living, right? Not the God of the dead. if your parents teach you the 10 Commandments as commanded right here in the Great Commandment, the first and Great Commandment, and you teach your children and they honor you, they will be following the commandments. And then the world we live in wouldn't be a freaking dumpster fire like it is. I mean, get with the program, people. Okay, this is the first great commandment. Okay, back to Matthew 23. Okay, that was Deuteronomy 6. That was the first 8 verses. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Do you think he just made that one up? Or that, look, it says right here, it has a little note that we're supposed to go and read that little note and go to Leviticus 19. So we go to Leviticus 19, and I'll just start in verse 15, and then I'll read it through to 18. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Ye shall not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness ye shall judge thy neighbor. Judge thy neighbor in righteousness. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer. That's no gossip. Did you see what she wore to church? No. Pull her aside. Get her straightened out. Neither thou shalt stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am Jehovah. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt not anywise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt not anywise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So if you do not rebuke him of his sin, those sins are upon him and upon you. And upon you. Because you did not rebuke him. You hated him. So, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Thou shalt love the neighbor as thyself. I am Jehovah. Okay? Rebuking the sin of your neighbor and keeping them on the narrow path. If somebody's walking towards a cliff, you yell at them and you tell them to stop. If you hate them, you let them walk off the cliff. Or there'll be a weeping and gnashing of teeth. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So if you put up love thy neighbor, love thy God, you can just hang all of the law and the prophets on that. You don't have to worry about building a parapet around your roof. You don't have to worry about whether you're mixing your wool and linen. Okay? And by the way, the wool and the linen thing is about not wearing the garments of the heathen. And which is the priestly robes of the heathen. Okay? So when you put on your Christmas attire, and eat your Christmas ham or Easter ham and your new flowery Easter dress, or you're going to wear a purple tie for Easter. You're learning the ways of the heathen and worshiping him how the heathens worship their gods. That's the mixing the wool and the linen. There's a spiritual connotation to these things. And the Pharisees were